Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? I hope that everyone is having a very good night. Tonight we're going to do our usual new Monday talk stream. I wanted to talk about The Witcher. I also wanted to talk about Bethesda quite a bit because Bethesda has kind of ruined all of the goodwill that they have kind of accumulated in the past few years. So I really wanted to talk about that today. I also wanted to talk about something that I saw like 2 days ago, and that is a study on sexualization of women in games, and also how it doesn't affect women in real life, which sounds shocking, right? But yeah, we have a couple of topics to discuss today. I hope everyone is doing well. I guess since it's the first one on screen, we will talk about The Witcher a little bit. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I am very excited for The Witcher TV series. I think that it is exciting to see what they could end up doing with it, because I, along with many other people, absolutely love the Witcher franchise, and I think that they've done an amazing job with it so far. And kind of when the Netflix show was announced, I was a little bit skeptical of it, until I heard who's playing Geralt, which I think Henry Cavill is an amazing actor, and I think that he is going to do amazing things with the role. But we've kind of seen, with the show, and of course a lot of other, movies and shows, things being kind of changed just a little bit to add to diversity. Diverse casting is the new trend. If we can throw diversity into anything, we will. Any different race, any different gender. I mean, people are kind of, I want to say in Hollywood, kind of going crazy with the whole diverse thing. So this is a good article. It's one from One Angry Gamer, of course, Billy. I am excited for this show. Don't get me wrong. I'm just worried that it's not going to be the type of show that we want it to be. Now, this is the main part that I really wanted to read, is gosh, I don't want to bash the show, because honestly, I don't like to bash shows or casting before the show even exists, because I'm optimistic about it. Like, I don't want to talk about the negativity of it. If it could be good, we know very little about it besides like the one trailer that we have. Just bash it, Vera. Maybe I should. But this is a statement that I wanted to read by the showrunner about kind of the reasons behind race swapping some of the characters, and like why they went for a little bit more diversity. It makes sense that we do, because we have a long and checkered history of enslaving, abusing, and deriding people who aren't white. When the scales have historically tipped so far in one direction, it's natural to swing back in the other in order to find a middle ground. I asked the question before we get into the rest of it. I understand that, like, roles with, like, races and genders can be changed. I'm not saying that they can't be. I'm not saying that it kills a show or a movie or a franchise. But if you are so worried about things that have happened in real life to specific people, different, religions, races, genders, etc., is this really the way to kind of do it? To bring in the history of, in slavery and, abuse and everything, is Hollywood and, Netflix and TV shows really the way to voice your concern about that? Because these are people that are showrunners that I'm sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly positive don't post every single day about, wanting to, bring awareness to this. I understand that this is their job, and you make as much difference as you can wherever you can in any ways that you can. I do completely understand that, but is a TV show really going to make the largest difference? In an established franchise, too. It's not like it's a brand new, franchise that you can do anything with. Do you guys understand? Continuing on with the statement, though, it says, a lot of entertainment is made in America, so it makes sense that this frame of mind seeps into TV and movies as well. I cannot speak for any other shows, but I can tell you in terms of The Witcher, here are a few things that were on my mind when thinking about inclusivity. The books are Polish and packed with Slavic spirit. It was important to keep the same tone in our show. With that in mind, I asked around, especially to Polish friends, because that's a huge difference. Can the Slavic culture be reduced solely down to skin color? The answer was resounding. God, we hope not. No one... Okay. I'm not saying that adding in inclusivity to shows is bad, but if it's an established franchise, and these are established characters, does this really need to be pushed and be forced? That's the question that I raise when it comes to this. I don't know. That's kind of the question that I raise. Remember when people were screaming and bitching about the lack of diversity in Game of Thrones? Neither do I. People actually did for a while. People actually did. They complained about, the lack of diversity by race and also gender. And that is when, in seasons, 5 in Game of Thrones, that's when it started going downhill. Because you could tell all of the male characters kind of got forced out for the bigger and better plots for the females. Now, I'm not saying that that was bad. I like Game of Thrones, and maybe the last season was not the best, but I never looked at it from, a gender point of view. The females should be all powerful, and, there should be more diversity. I never saw it that way. I didn't mind, in the end, what they did with most of the characters. But yeah, people actually did complain about the lack of diversity in Game of Thrones. It was debunked very, very, very fast, but that was a conversation around season 6, I think. Diversity in Game of Thrones. I remember it being a thing. Yeah, see? This excuse, you guys can't see because my head. I'm sorry. My face. I'm so sorry. This excuse for why Game of Thrones lacks diversity isn't good. There are no black people on Game of Thrones. Why is fantasy TV so racist? Game of Thrones, despite lack of characters of color, I mean, you can tell that this was a thing. It goes back to even... Get out of the way, Bear! We can't even read the text! But you can see, people were complaining about it back in 2017, 2016. 6 seasons later, Game of Thrones has fixed its diversity problem. But yeah, it was something that was brought up. Of course, a lot of people debunked it very fast because, they kind of threw in as much as they could. They threw in women, they threw in different races, or not women, just different genders. I mean, they pushed all of the male characters out of the spotlight to make way for the females, which, again, I'm not saying that was a bad story decision, because I think that, some of the storylines, like Cersei, they ended shit, but they were pretty good most of the time. Sansa, the story was pretty good most of the time. I liked most of their decisions with the show, but people are always going to complain no matter what you give them. Holy shit. Yeah, everyone will complain about anything that they can. And that, I hate to kind of add to that in a sense, because I talk about things that maybe are more controversial, like censorship, we'll say. Some people just don't believe it and think that it's all in our heads. But they're so important. They're such important things to talk about. It's is diversity in Game of Thrones or TV a very big issue? And that's the question they raised like 5 years ago, and that is why kind of they started this escapade with adding in as many diverse roles as they can, remaking films with only female casts. And you know, just with the Witcher show, again, I'm not going to knock it until I try it. Like, I am completely open to watching the show. When this show releases, the day that it releases, I am going to be binge watching this because I love the Witcher franchise. But I just have to kind of ask myself, is diversity in it, was it ever targeted? Was The Witcher ever targeted for not having enough diversity? It's kind of the question. I mean, yeah, obviously, like, the characters look completely different. But if they're good actors and actresses and, like, they can do their job really well, I'm not going to be bothered by it in a sense, but I still wish, like, we saw Triss looking like this. Like, I still wish we saw Triss looking like Triss, or Yennefer looking like, I wish the characters looked a little bit more accurate. I mean, that's coming from someone that played the games, though, and is a fan of the games, and I do understand that this is kind of not based on the games, it's based on the novels, but still, like, the characters in the games were the characters based on the novels, and those characters looked proper, compared to what they, you know, were written like in the games. I'm not sure, like, I'm curious to know everyone else's thoughts kind of on this. Is it, I feel like it's not that big of a deal if in an established franchise, people stick to said established characters and don't change them for what they think is like a monetization purpose, like they'll get more money out of it. Even though people don't want to kind of feed into that forced diverse culture. I don't know. Hello, Invader. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing tonight? I'm sorry, I got straight into the articles. How are you all doing tonight? I hope that everyone is doing okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Different writers? Well, yeah. I would say it's a 70-30, 70% diversity quota and 30% not being able to get the right person for the part. I still think that in a lot of, I hate to say it, but I really feel like it's like a 85% diversity, not a 70. I mean, it's felt so forced lately. And that's not going to turn me off from watching something. If I really want to watch a show, a movie, I don't care if they're gender swapped or race swapped, I'm going to watch it for the story ultimately. But, yeah. Vera, can I be 100% honest? White people are better actors because white is so plain it's easier to self-insert. I don't know if that's necessarily true, Tony. I guess that's your opinion, though. I'm not going to tell you your opinion's wrong, but I'm not going to tell you it's right. I guess that's your opinion. The problem isn't putting women in shows, it's making them perfect and never wrong. Well, that also is a problem, is how they portray specific characters that they want to. I mean, that's not always... You know, that's not just, the only problem, but right, characters have plot armor, and if you're a woman in a show, like, most female characters can just kind of get away with anything because they have plot armor, and they want to push that strong, independent female that doesn't need no man. I still prefer male James Bond. Sherlock Holmes in the 21st century has nothing to do with sex, race, or sexuality. It is mischaracterization the same way, and I hate it. Fair enough. You're going to talk about the CASE Act and attempt to go after what everyday user post online by fine of unappealable 5,000 through a copyright office. Not tonight. I didn't have that on the list. With Black Arrow, I'm sure how I feel, but if they make Ursula a white male because all of them are evil, I'll definitely have my issues. I think that if the actors can play the parts, I don't mind it. But they're already established characters, so it still kind of bothers me a little bit. Do tons of people really self-insert when they play / watch things? Am I the weird one on this? I don't know. Are you the weird one on that? We'll see who says what in chat. But yeah, I mean, in the end, it's, to me, not really a big deal. I'll still watch it. I'll still give it a chance. But that's the reason that they gave for all of this kind of inclusivity. That's a bad reason. Like, it's TV. We're talking about The Witcher. This isn't a depiction of real life, of real events. This is a TV show based off of a novel, based off of a game. Well, no, it was a TV show based off of a novel and then a game based off the novel. But still, you guys, you're picking up what I'm putting down. You guys, you get it. You guys get it. You guys get it. Alright, moving to the next topic. I think I kind of said my piece on this one. I guess we'll have to see what other news comes out about it. Next thing that I wanted to talk about. Now, this is a Kotaku article, but I thought it was a well-written article, and the topic of it is a very important one that I wanted to talk about. That's why it's not archived. Usually I archive posts that I don't want to give them a click for, but I'll give them a click for this one, because they're sticking to the facts. It's a good article. Study. Sexualization of women in games doesn't impact women's body image. We're going to talk about this in just a second. But I'm going to check chat first really quickly. Hello, everyone. Part of the appeal is staying true to mythology. Don't want to see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and geez, don't want to see a black dude. Don't want people in stories that don't belong to the mythology. I mean, I see your point. No archive equals potential boob mouse pads. Yeah, one angry gamer always has the boob mouse pads on the side. One of these times, I'm gonna buy one, guys. I'm gonna buy one. I don't know what one, though. But I will, one of these times. It's gonna be a good one, though. Even though I don't need it, because I literally have a 6-foot-long Magic the Gathering playmat on my desk, and I don't need one. You know, still. The article is wrong. They don't ask blue-haired. Oh my gosh. I hate the new Lara Croft. All women I know prefer old Lara too. I don't necessarily think that they kind of ruined Lara. Alright. We'll get into that. We will get into this. Alright. Like I said, this is a Kotaku article. This article is titled Study. Sexualization of women in games doesn't impact women's body images. Now, this isn't a new topic. This has been talked about for many years, kind of when they were pushing the narrative of women don't like games for this, here, and everywhere, every reason that they could come up with, and then, you know, studies started to come out that women like games just as much as men. But this is actually a topic that I followed for a couple of years, because I remember, I couldn't find the article, but I remember back in 2016 or 17, like, this topic was a large topic that was being discussed, and I remember people were trying to push this, saying, oh yeah, of course, sexualization of women in games impacts women's body image, but it was proven that it doesn't, and again, it's proven that it doesn't. So the article starts off with, long argued is the theory that embodying a lithe and thin Lara Croft in Tomb Raider might make women gamers feel worse about their own bodies. Might! I love the wording in this article. They worded it perfectly. It's an argument that women like me, the writer, I don't need to say that, have used to justify the importance of adding more realistically proportioned, less sexualized characters to our favorite games. Yet, according to a new study by researchers at Stetson University, playing sexualized female characters in games may not have as great an impact on women's body satisfaction as conventional wisdom holds. Arguing that, at the very least, there ought to be more diverse games and ones that present stronger and less sexualized female characters makes sense, the study's co-author, Chris Ferguson, a professor of psychology at Stetson, said to Kotaku. But whenever an advocacy platform develops not just saying, we ought to do something because this is the right thing to do, but we drift into claims of casual harm that don't exist, it undermines the advocacy. As a video game violence researcher and someone who's done scholarship on mass homicides, let me state very empathetically, there is no good evidence that video games or other media contributes, even in a small way, to mass homicides or any other violence among youth. That's something that I love to see them also address in this, because we are always seeing that video games are bad for the mental health of young people, and, you know, it's been debunked so many times, but people try to play it off as true, that violent video games make people violent, and younger adults and younger audiences are more susceptible to what they see in media, in games, and in TV. So I'm glad that they do also address that. I'm very glad with that. Just saying. But it goes on to say, having previously studied the impact of catcalling on women's self-images, this means that the study may have delivered more neutral, less biased results because its co-authors have dissimilar perspectives on the issue, which I also love that they did. They had people with very different perspectives on the issue doing it, instead of two people that either lean one way with the issue or another with the issue. I think that is also just a great piece of information. Because usually, like, when we hear about studies and stuff, like, they don't actually talk about who's doing the research and all of that, so that's also great to see. This study, published by the American Psychology Association, asked 100 women to play one of two Tomb Raider games. In one, Tomb Raider Underworld, subjects played a part in the game where Croft is outfitted in bikini bottoms and a form-fitting long-sleeved wetsuit top that was portrayed in a way that emphasized Lara's waist, hips, and breasts. This was the sexualized gameplay. Since the study explained one of the indicators of sexualization is clothing that is not appropriate for the task to be completed. The other subjects played the 2013 game, where she's wearing the cargo pants and the tank top. I personally don't really like that version of her. I know it's not too much different, but personal preference coming from a certified woman. Participants then filled out a well-known study for self-objectification or emphasizing physical appearance in self-evaluations. The study's results indicated that playing the sexualized segment of Tomb Raider Underworld did not make players feel body shame or impact their body satisfaction. I am a woman. Now this is just me, I usually try to play the more revealing and sexualized skins or outfits. I think that the characters look really cool, and I think they look great, and I don't think I've ever personally compared myself to a video game character and went, wow, Lara Croft has a great fucking ass. I feel bad about myself because I don't have that. I'm sure that there are people that maybe do that, or that have experienced maybe kind of seeing so much media kind of presented that way, because let's be honest, a lot of media now is very over-sexualized, but that's not just about women, you know, women are over-sexualized in movies and games, you know, a lot of the time, in men too, because sexy sells. Look back at the 80s and 90s, where everything that was marketed, even games, had sexy women on them, because they knew their demographic that was purchasing these products, and they knew that that's what they wanted to see, and no one shamed them for it. And I'm the same way. You know, I'm perfectly fine, and I usually lean towards playing games that have more revealing characters because they look cool. I don't want to see a female character wearing jeans and a tank top, because I could just walk around in the street wearing that myself. Like, I obviously am not gonna wear what Lara Croft wore originally, which was like a sports bra, like booty shorts, these big, thick combat boots, and like ammunition packs and bows and arrows around her. Obviously, I'm not going to walk around in public like that. But if I wanted to see something like jeans and a tank top, I would wear it myself, kind of. Like, I don't want to see realism in video games. And some games are obviously based off of realism. They're very realistic. They're based off of, you know, real situations or retellings of things. That's completely understandable. But when it comes to a game like Tomb Raider, which obviously isn't a real situation, or even something like, let's say, The Witcher, which is high fantasy, I don't want to see realism. I want to see awesome looking outfits and like robes, and like I want to see cool characters and good looking characters. Like, I don't care if a character body type like looks average or not. I just care that, like, if they're in a high fantasy setting, like if Lara Croft is climbing the side of a mountain and sliding down like the bottom of a tomb in like mud, escaping, I don't know, some trap, that she at least physically looks like she'd be able to do it. But outfits don't really matter in that case, do they? Like, that's getting into another realm of like the actual way that their body looks, and this is kind of, I want to say, well, it's not just about the outfit, it also is, you know, portrayed in the way that emphasized her hips, waist, and breasts. Like, it does have to do with it as well, but still, participants identified this sexualized video game protagonist as fictional. What? Video games are fake, guys? What? And thus not a realistic source of messaging about women's bodies. That's how anyone should view games, though. Whether it's female or male characters, that's how people should view characters. They are fictional, and they're not a realistic source about women's bodies, men's bodies, whoever we're talking about. What? Yeah. Like, of course it's, the video game protagonist is fictional. Of course you should not look at a video game character and go, is this how a real woman should look? I suppose there are people that kind of feel bad about themselves. You know, that's a big part of, I don't want to say today's society or anything, but, you know, people feel like they should look good, which, you know, that has to do with, like, you know, marketing of clothing and things like makeup and, you know, just, like, how much you exercise and stuff like that, how you eat. That's still, there are things that are marketed to people that make people feel bad about themselves, and maybe they're, like, under the standard. But looking at a video game and comparing yourself to a video game character should never be something that people should do. I I just feel like if you're doing that, then obviously you have self-confidence issues, and you should work on that and trying to make yourself feel good, not worried about comparing yourself to a fictional character. Fictional characters are fictional, guys. In case we all forgot, fictional characters are indeed fictional. You know, continuing on, I suspect that much of the impact of the movie had to do with its affirming women's views about themselves or women in general as having or deserving equality in a realm historically devoted to men. I mean, okay, that's fine. I mean, video games... That's another topic. In other words, the movie didn't cause anything in terms of psychological constructs, but was recognizable to women, and of course many men, as consistent with their beliefs about gender equality. We tend to feel positive about things in which we recognize our own values, but it doesn't necessarily cause those values to spring into being. This is a good article in my opinion, and I do like that they are really referencing all of the points made. Vera, that's just like your opinion, man. Oh yes, you guys come to this stream, these are all my opinions. I'm not saying my opinions are right. I'm not saying my opinions are wrong, but these studies have been done time and time again, and I want to talk about them because I'm glad that people are not just spreading false studies, because this study has been done time and time again over years, and this is usually the outcome of it. This last part though is a yeah, I didn't fall for it. I'm just reading it. This part is true. This isn't to say that media with singular or negative depictions of women is totally fine. Living in a culture that perpetuates the idea that some female body types are more valid or beautiful than others does impact how positively women feel about themselves, as does the idea that a woman's value comes from her body. Like I had said before, things are marketed in a very blatant way, looking at clothing companies, looking at, diet companies, looking at, things like gym routines and stuff. I'm not saying that those do not exist and that those do not affect a woman's body or a man's body. Marketing is, in a lot of ways, a very negative thing. I'm just sheerly talking about this study. You guys understand that, though. But yeah, it ends with media holds a mirror up to our culture, and sometimes we don't like that mirror. It must be dirty or smudged for it to look this way, but it really is more of a mirror. Overall, I thought that was a pretty good article. I read a lot of articles like this, and I don't always talk about them on the channel or anything, because a lot of them do come up with the same conclusion, but it is good to talk about them every once in a while. Definitely, for sure.
Beep, boop, boop, beep.
Thank you, Frank, for the $3 donation. I very much so appreciate it. Beep, boop, boop, beep. Indeed, friend. Beep, boop, boop, beep. Indeed. Marketing just plays off of people's fears and insecurities. Exactly, and Again, I'll say this for the third time in a row, because I do not want anyone to take this in the wrong way. I'm not saying that real life marketing does not affect a woman's body or a man's body and how they view themselves. But in the case of games, sexualization of women in games doesn't impact a woman's body image, and that is so important to talk about, because it's always, one of those things, same with violent games make people violent. It's so false, and so many people believe it. I feel horrible about my body ever since I seen the cover for Golden Axe. I knew I would never achieve such greatness and decided to give up on life. I'm dying. Oh my god. Yeah, right? Oh, man. Oh. We'll never become centaurs, and that's something we all have to live with. Exactly, Police Box. Exactly. Man, it's a damn shame, okay? It's a damn shame. I'm just catching up on chat. This is why Sony is censoring anime. Sony is censoring anime for or they're just censoring the games in general for the excuse that it's for the children, which is kind of going into the topic of video games make people violent, violent games make people violent, and stuff like that, which is not true. And the thing with Sony is that they never ever reference, you know, what they're... That article? You guys really want me to read that article? Young women are reclaiming the slur e-girl? Please say no. Please say no. Hashtag damn shame. It is a damn shame. It's a damn shame. But the thing with Sony, like I was saying, is that they don't actually reference the studies that they're referencing. They reference studies, yet they don't reference them whenever they're talking about them, which doesn't help. Mario Maker super expert levels make people violent. Oh, you know that's true. Whew. You know that's true. Is that Belle Delphine in this picture? No, that's not. I don't know who that is. She's pretty though. News by Vera should be a daily video series. This is entertaining. I've been considering maybe doing 2 streams a week. The thing is that I don't want to, like, have a stream where I talk about topics I talk about in videos, because I don't want to keep, like, repeating myself over and over. But yeah, you guys definitely like this stuff, and if you guys are interested more in it, let me know. Maybe I can do 2 streams a week like this or something. I mean, I've only been doing it for, like, 3 or 4 weeks now. Mario Maker 2 online versus lag makes me very violent. Oof, you guys and your toxic masculinity and your violent video games. I can't believe you. Why are women overly sensitive? I wouldn't say that women are overly sensitive. I mean, people in general, some people in general, not everyone's kind of wired the same way, you could say. Not everyone thinks the same way or acts the same way. Not everyone reacts to situations the same way. Scorpion, you're completely right. Sony censors what Nintendo don't. You know, I would like to say, I've been using that saying for like a year now, so, yeah, obviously I ripped it off from somewhere, but like, you guys should credit me every time you say that, still. Vera's cool, just don't piss her off. Frank, you retracted that. What do you think it'll take for society to get out of this funk? Do you think it'll only get worse? The funk in regards to what exactly? Like censorship, you know, like people spreading false information about studies and stuff. Vera, do you consider e-girl a slur? Do I consider e-girl a slur? Well, e-girl means like the... Hold on, let me look up the exact definition of it. E-gale? Oh my god, e-girl. Is a species? Oh, I don't believe. Okay, I'm not getting into this. Look at this. When you Google it, is a species? Oh no. That sounds like e-girl just means cat girl. I mean, the term is just as bland as an e-girl is a girl or woman who has an online persona. That is the definition of it. And it is obviously used more so in like an insult, compliment, or descriptor way, and it says that, you know, usually it's used as an insult, but, the actual definition of it, when it's not being used as a slur, isn't offensive. I mean, a girl that is on the internet that plays a persona, I mean, plenty of men play personas online, so are they e-boys? Like, do we need a gender-neutral term here? Like, it's not, it didn't start as, like, an insult, in a sense. I would consider thought being more of an insult, because it is an acronym, it stands for something. So, like, I suppose e-girl isn't really that offensive. Yeah, when it's used in an offensive manner, like, I'm not ever going to call someone that or, like, insult someone using that, but, like, what the actual term of it originally wasn't, like, offensive or anything. Like, people just made it that way, because people on the internet act completely different than they do in real life, and they act tough on the internet. And they banter and they say things that sometimes they don't think of before they say. Gender neutral term is eBay. I love that. eBay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I found that so funny. I didn't read that article. Young women are reclaiming the slur e-girl. I mean, I'm just going to say it. If someone wants to insult you, I feel like there's a better term than an e-girl. How about e-don't? Yeah. E-girl was an insult pre-1995. It was any girl online because there was no women online, damn it. Oh no. Are we getting into women don't actually play games and don't exist on the internet? Are we making up slurs now? No. Someone just asked me my opinion, and I'm free to, I mean, I'm okay with answering questions like, I mean, I think that in the realm of insulting someone, thought is a worse insult, because it's only ever been used as a derogatory and insultive term. E-girl wasn't really used as an insult term before a couple of years ago, but thought was specifically made up to be an insult. So I feel like one was blown more out of proportion and one was created to be an insult. Just like, I'm going to say, just like the emotes on Twitch. There are a couple of emotes on Twitch that streamers actually banned because people were using them in like offensive manners, and it didn't originally start out as being made for an offensive manner. So it's kind of the same situation. One existed, but people of course blew it out of proportion to be asses, and then another was created specifically just to be an ass. You see what I mean? I want to talk about another situation with women in gaming. 2 for the night. Usually I don't talk about women in gaming, but you know, a lot of you guys wanted me to talk about these topics, so I will. Have a good night, everyone. Have a great stream. Have a fantastic night, Undying. I hope that your night goes very, very well. The next one that I wanted to talk about was this article posted by The Guardian. It's archived because I do not support The Guardian, like I said. This was posted today, and I saw this earlier, and it's titled, "Not one of the Fortnite World Cup's 100 finalists was a woman." Hold on. Why? Oh! Are we really getting into you really had to ask why? Apparently we had to ask why. And I also have up on another tab some studies that I'm going to show you guys, because it's very easy to refute this conversation. Get good. This is a topic that I'm kind of asked a lot about. It's like, how do you feel about like women not being in competitive gaming and all this stuff? It's very simple. This weekend, the best Fortnite players in the world gathered at Flushing Meadows in New York to compete in the game's first ever World Cup finals for $30 million in prize money. Tens of thousands of spectators packed the famed Arthur Ashe Stadium to watch the action live, yada yada. Amid all the hype and fanfare on the finals, one depressing fact remained unavoidable. Not a single one of the 100 finalists was female. Trying not to be an ass or be sarcastic, but it's just so funny to me. Because as a woman in gaming, I've looked at these studies hundreds of times. Like these studies of, like, women not being in competitive gaming, and, like, why aren't women competing in gaming? Like, we've talked about this topic. People have talked about this topic thousands of times. So if you've already aware of these situations, you know what I'm about to say. Despite the growing popularity of professional gaming throughout the world, the audience figures for competitive gaming has reached 450 million this year. Female competitors remain scarce. They should have added in specific game genres. Anyway, there are certainly high-profile female examples for female pros. Trans woman Sasha Houston, which she's Scarlet, is one of the most successful StarCraft 2 players in the world. I watched StarCraft 1 and 2 competitively. I'm gonna say it. I don't play StarCraft 1 or 2 competitively, but I watch the competitive scene like many people, men and women, do. Just because they don't compete, and it doesn't mean they're not interested in it. So I know who Scarlet is. Mystic is another industry highest paid female pro gamer and won the Sci-Fi Channel's reality TV show WCG Ultimate Gamer. And Fortnite stars One Shot Girl Loea. I think that's how you say her name. I don't know her. I'm sorry. There are many women in game in Fortnite. I don't know why. Isn't Pokimane? Maybe not. Maybe she's done with it. I don't know. Maybe she's just chatting in the Fortnite section now, like she did before. But you could watch a year of big tournaments, whether it's Call of Duty, League of Legends, or Hearthstone, and count the number of female competitors on the fingers of one hand. Do you guys know the percentage of women? So looking at charts of percentage of what types of games women play, it's only about 8% of female gamers that play first-person shooters. So keep that in mind when we are looking at these, like Call of Duty and Fortnite. Keep that percentage in mind. It's a very important percentage. I don't see them talking at all about the genres that women are majority of competitive players, like games, like MMOs. Very high percentage of women in games like MMOs. I don't see them talking about any of that. This isn't because women and girls aren't playing games. 46% of gamers are women. That's kind of been a number that people kind of feel very wishy-washy about. But continuing on, a figure reflected in several other recent studies. The female audience for esports is also growing. So why aren't we seeing that reflected in the Fortnite World Cup? The easy answer is because no women qualified. This is exactly the point. This was an opportunity that was not gender-based. This was open to men and women, both genders. It's as simple as none of the women qualified. The problem that I have with this whole article is that they're trying to say it's wrong that there are not actual that there are not enough women in competitive gaming. That's my problem, is that they're trying to say it's a problem. That's not a problem at all. You know what? I understand that people like to also watch women play games. As a woman, I like to watch women competitors just as much as I like to watch male competitors. But they're trying to force in this narrative that it's this huge epidemic, it's this huge problem, and it's not. It is just as simple as saying the easy answers because no women qualified. This was open to any gender, anyone that wanted to be in it. You just had to qualify, and just no women qualified. So why is this a problem? Why did this article have to be made? It's very simple. You answered it in one little sentence. You answered it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You answered it in 8 words. Why did this have to be an article? When women do compete, they can find themselves under disproportionate and unwelcome scrutiny. In June, a 15-year-old girl entered a tournament in New York based around Super Smash Bros. And beat a top player. And of course, they go in to say, hounded and bullied by online fans. This is one situation. You cannot say the whole gaming... Why are they not calling the gaming community toxic? They could throw in here, all men in gaming are trash and toxically masculine. They might as well at this point. This is one example out of the millions of positive experiences that people have in gaming. Just because there's one bad situation, they of course just have to point out the most recent one, even if it's bad. Why did they not point out something positive? I am a toxic gamer if you want an interview. Oh, I'll have to hit you up on that. It's just, as a woman, it's frustrating to see people writing articles like this, acting like it is an issue that there are not more women in competitive games. It's very simple. Women are competitive in very different way from men. They are competitive in very different situations, and they don't talk about this at all, really. But I'm going to bring up an article that I found earlier. I literally Googled, do women shy away from competition? And this is one of the first ones that popped up. This is from 2007, so, it was a couple of years ago. It just asks the question, do women shy away from competition? Do men compete too much? Which is a question that they kind of raise in this, why are there not more women in competitive gaming? First, there were no gender differences in performance or in the probability of winning under either compensation scenario. So again, it's pointing out what they're saying in this article, that just none of the women qualified. It's as simple as that. It's not sexism. It's not gender problems. However, men were 2 times more likely than women to compete to select the competitive tournament compensation scheme for their next task. While 73% of men selected the tournament, only 35% of women do so. Women are very competitive in very different things than men. Yes, there are obviously very competitive women in gaming in every type of gaming scene, 100%. But if you look at things like different industries, women are very competitive in a lot of different things. And it's just as simple as that. At any given level of performance, women were 38 percentage points less likely than men to select the competitive tournament. Against their best interests, low-ability men entered the tournament too often, and high-ability women did not enter it enough. It's not that women that are good at video games do not exist, they just do not want to go to these tournaments. And they might not want to go to the tournaments for multiple reasons. They do not have the time. They are just sheerly not interested in what they could get out of it. Maybe they cannot make it. Maybe they have anxiety. Maybe they have problems in social settings, just like men do. But still, It's not that the women aren't good. It's not that they're being not allowed into these types of atmospheres and these types of events. It's not that at all. It's just that women are competitive in different things. It simply ends with, the tournament entry gap was explained by male overconfidence and by differences in gender preference for competition. In short, while men and women perform equally well, women shy away from competitive environments. And they do. This has been proven time and time again. And that's okay. People do not need to write articles like this, enforcing the narrative like it is a problem. Because then women are going to feel even more self-conscious about going to these events, and they're not going to want to go to these events because they're given so much extra attention. Women, no one in games, women or men, deserves special attention because of their gender, their race, their sexual orientation, none of that. And if you're going to enforce the narrative that there's a problem with women in games, there aren't enough, then every time a woman pops up, we're gonna be like, oh, shocked! Shock.gif! Like, you have to treat them the same way, or else they're not going to feel comfortable in those situations. You know? It's just kind of the way that it is, though. Yeah, I understand what you guys are saying about Liana K. She's not everyone's favorite, and she has some different opinions on things. I mean, I don't mind her, but, you know, a lot of people, you know, have differing opinions than hers. Can I have special treatment for my cheeseburgers? Nice. Bear, write an instructional video for, oh my god, a guide for Kotaku? I mean, I could. Also, really quickly, since we are an hour into stream, I hope everyone is doing well. I appreciate you all being here. I do. We do these streams every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Maybe I'll go to doing them twice a week. Per usual, I do videos all the time. I'm sure all of you are subscribed. But if you're not subscribed, subscribe. I would say, consider joining the Dark Titans. But if you join today, then you'll get charged, and you'll get charged again in 3 days, and I don't want to rip you guys off. So in 3 days, consider becoming a Dark Titan, or consider donating $3 for text-to-speech. There's my shill for the night. Hi, Vera. You do this every Monday? Yes. The past 3 weeks, I have done this every Monday, and I think this is going to stay on the schedule for every Monday. I would consider doing it maybe twice a week, maybe like a chill talk stream, but I don't want to, like, overdo it. You know, I know that you guys like my talk streams and stuff, which I completely appreciate. I just don't want to wear people out with them, but who knows? You know, I like to do video game content, obviously. Let's see. Oh shit, I gotta subscribe. Yeah, make sure to subscribe. Not all women are feminists, I mean, actually, those loud groups just misrepresent each. I mean, women gamers aren't as good as the men, though? I mean, that's not necessarily true. It's not necessarily true. Woke isn't always bad. Hey, that's your opinion. I'm not gonna say your opinion's right or wrong. But that's kind of what I wanted to touch on with this article, because I feel like they don't actually... So they talk about a lot of good points where, you know, their main part is the easy answers because no women qualified. That's exactly what it is, but they just try to make it sound like it's more. There were high-profile women invited to this event. It's not like there wasn't, but they did not move on to the next qualifications, and that's... You can't blame... You can't, like, start coming up with random excuses of why that happened. Like, it's just because they didn't qualify, they didn't do as good in the tournament. Which, as you see, there are plenty of women that have won professional events in gaming and in Fortnite too. Like, it's not like it's never happened. You just have to consider sometimes people have off days, and even sometimes things get the best of these professional players. It's as simple as that. Women who aren't feminists or marriage material. New feminism is very different from what feminism started as. So when you're saying something like that, just keep that in mind. What feminism started as and what it is now are two very completely different things. So when you say, like, feminism is bad, or, like, you don't support feminism, just keep in mind what it really started as. I don't want to get into the feminism topic, but just keep that in mind, because I do. Most of the time. You guys know I'm not a very, like, heated person. Like, I try to, like, come up with the most logical explanations of things. I try to always see both sides of the story, see both sides of everything. So that's just another thing that you have to consider, you know, what it started as and what it is now. I know the friendship is over. Whose friendship? What? Women are smarter than men. Are we trying to start a fight here? Wow, you guys are toxically masculine tonight. Fortnite is in a good position to attract more female professionals. It already has a much larger female audience than most online shooters. That's not true. I've literally never heard this statement ever since Fortnite became a thing. It already has a much larger female audience than most online shooters. I've never heard that. 35% of the game's user base. Okay, that doesn't mean that has a... Okay, some of these percents are a little bit odd. Fortnite female percentage. I mean, it would just be a rough estimate, though. I mean, it would be a rough estimate. I'm never gonna find what I want. US 20. Okay, so this one. Sorry, I just made a weird noise. This one's saying 27. This article's saying 35. Where did they get this 35 percentage from? Fortnite female players 35%. Literally, what comes up is the article from today. So this person, I don't know if they just came up with the percentages because they want to, but right here's where it should, like, link to a cross-referenced article, but it doesn't. But that's all that I really wanted to touch on with this topic, though. I don't want to, like, go overly into it. I just wanted to kind of tell you guys, like, it's another classic case of there aren't enough women in games. Shocking. Why not? And it's not because they don't exist. It's because women are competitive in very different ways. Talked about that. So I guess the last thing that I really wanted to talk about tonight, or one of the main things that I wanted to talk about tonight, was... Oh, I'm so sorry, Bethesda. I feel over the past few years, recently, Bethesda has kind of burned all of the goodwill that they had with consumers. I mean, they had a flop of Fallout 76. They had a very mediocre release of Rage 2. And now we're seeing Wolfenstein Youngblood. But also in between those major and large game releases, we're seeing things like this. This happened a couple of days ago, 3 days ago. Classic Doom games vanish, reappear on Xbox One with features missing. So if you guys didn't know, they decided to launch... Alright, I'll read the article because I'm sure it says it. As part of its annual QuakeCon festives, ID Software announced a launch of all 3 original Doom games on modern consoles on Friday. That's what I was just trying to reference. Effective immediately. That was solid news for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch owners who did not have the option to get Doom, Doom 2, or Doom 3. But the news was different on Xbox One, where all 3 games had already received digital download ports. And then they delisted them and removed them. So if you ever uninstall them, you could never get them back. Now, this isn't, like, completely shocking. Sometimes that happens with, like, games that are digital. This is why you don't fucking trust games unless they are DRM free. Again, I'm going to shill for GOG. Buy your games on GOG because they are DRM free. You own them forever. No one can ever take them away from you. Continuing on. Owners of the original licenses are not redirected on their consoles to the new SKUs. As of this press time, those games' original owners are asked to pay full price to play the new Xbox One native versions of those classic games. So you have to repurchase them again because Bethesda got fucking greedy again. And on top of that, we just had the release on Friday of Wolfenstein Youngblood, and they threw in more political messages into this game. Now, I'll say this again, because I've said this in other videos. Politics in games are not bad as long as the politics pertain to the universe that the games are set in. This is what gamers, or this is at least what I fucking hate them doing in games when they throw in references to things like politics, like they throw in things like politics into games that do not pertain to the video game universe, that do not pertain to any of that. So one of the first things is, they have a slogan in the game which is, "Make America Nazi Free Again," which is obviously a play on Make America Great Again. Which, you know, I get that, you know, Make America Great Again is kind of a meme at this point. Like, a lot of people, you know, just kind of meme on it. Like, it's a joke that people have kind of gone a little too far with, but it is kind of like a meme. Like, okay, if it was just that, I could see a lot of people kind of getting over that, not being so bothered with it. But what they did was, if you haven't dove into Youngblood yet, which I haven't, I'm not going to buy this game until it's in a $5 clearance bin, which I'm sure it will be in 2 months. There's a variety of collectibles, you know, like collectibles, like lore collectibles and stuff, like letters and newspaper snippets that flesh out the lore's game. Again, nothing new here. There's a publisher's rejection letter that starts off with, "We've chosen not to move forward with your novel, The Great Wall. Although the idea," I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh, "of a huge wall made of concrete is a pretty interesting concept. The novel's story is simply not plausible." And then if you go down, "Even if you factor in suspension of disbelief, we had a hard time believing that a protagonist who seemed so unintelligent and incompetent would be able to accomplish anything other than cleaning the toilets of our facilities." This is what they put in a game. Okay? This does not pertain... it's obviously a very blatant poke at real world politics. Politics in games are not bad if they pertain to the universe, and I get that they always try to mask it as though it does, but you can tell blatantly that make America Nazi free again. And the Great Wall, which is a huge wall made of concrete, was put in there for a very specific person. For a very specific purpose, and probably a very specific type of person, I mixed those two up, probably put this in the game. This is why I do not buy games at release anymore. I buy very, very few games at actual launch and release because you never know what you're supporting. Bethesda, for so many years, was a fantastic company. They had fantastic people making their games, but after the flop that was Fallout 76, the mediocre launch of Rage 2, this release of Wolfenstein Youngblood, which isn't properly rated yet, because we don't, just came out a couple of days ago. I'm not going to talk about the rating for it yet because we don't know. Obviously, with situations like forcing consumers to pay for a product they already own, as well as forcing political messages into your games, is not going to make people happy. And to me, as a consumer, this is the type of stuff that I am not going to purchase because I think that this stuff is not acceptable in a way. I'm not going to support this. I don't know if any of you guys purchased Youngblood. I do not know if any of you planned to purchase Youngblood. Bethesda good when? Bethesda used to be good. They used to not be an awful company. Look at all of the things that Bethesda's released. Let's look at the whole list of their games. They used to not be an awful company. I need the wiki. I'm not going on their website that's only going to have, new stuff on it. They used to not be awful. You have the Elder Scrolls series, obviously, which is pretty self-fucking-explanatory. You have Fallout, which until 76 was a amazing franchise. You have Rage, which Rage 1 was a pretty good game. It was pretty under the radar for a long time, but still. You have Doom. Doom is the only game I'm considering supporting Bethesda with. I am so excited for Eternal. I cannot even explain it, and Eternal is a game that I probably will get at launch. But it makes me so worried because do I want to support Bethesda after all of these failed game releases? Wolfenstein, which was a great series until this game. Probably until this game. The Evil Within series, which is a fantastic series. Evil Within is great. Dishonored, great series. They have so many good series. Prey, Prey was okay. Fallout was Black Isle Studio. Yeah, but Fallout series. It's on the list. But still, you get what I mean. Fallout 76 was pretty bad. But before that, they didn't ruin it. They only ruined Fallout 76, and I don't even want to say they ruined Fallout because they tried to go with something different with it that obviously failed. But there's a chance that maybe they could redeem themselves with the next game. I am a firm believer that companies can redeem themselves. That when it comes to games and companies, even if they have a couple of shitty releases, they can fix it and they can redeem themselves if they do it in a proper manner. But when they do shit like this, that's pay to win trash, no one is going to support you anymore. When you throw political agendas into games, this is when people are not going to support you anymore. They've lost a lot of their fan base, and I get it. People are still excited for Elder Scrolls 6. I completely understand that. I'm excited to see what it's going to be about. I'm still fairly excited about Starfield. Starfield will probably be a bad game, but I still like the theme that they're going for with it. Doom, I'm worried about. I used to not hate Bethesda. And I don't hate Bethesda. I just think that they're going down a deep, dark path. Dark, deep path? How did I say it? Dark, deep path. I guess it doesn't matter. Sorry, overthinking it. I don't think that it was necessarily the worst thing that we've seen with, like, games forcing political messages into games. Obviously, I don't think that this is the worst. But it still pertains to the here and now that doesn't actually pertain to the game itself. Which I don't like. Skyrim was the buggiest game I've ever loved to pieces. I agree. Even though Skyrim was buggy as shit and they really didn't put... Well, I don't want to say they didn't put as much effort into it as they could. They just should have redefined it a little bit better, you know, tweaked it a little bit more. I thought that it was... I mean, it's obviously, like, one of the best games of, like, the past many years. What year was Skyrim even? Now that I... Was 2012 Skyrim? What year was... Oh, 2011. Okay, I wasn't crazy. I thought it was 2012, but it was the very end of 2011. I thought so. I mean, it still left a mark on RPGs, and we see... It even sells now. Skyrim still fucking sells because it was good, even if it was buggy. Yeah, it was 2011. Yeah, it was 2011. I didn't know it was beginning of 2012 or end of 2011, but still. The only game where elves are uglier than orcs, I know. That was painful to me. I always play an elf, and it hurt my heart a little. Bethesda never released a game that wasn't broken with bugs because they don't want to release a game that isn't on the creative engine. Well, exactly. Bethesda has their own problems. They have to consider how outdated things like their engines are. And with things like this, you know, Wolfenstein Youngblood and trying to mock President Trump, you have to consider the type of people that are working in their studios that are doing that. Sometimes getting new perspectives in a studio is not bad. Maybe perspectives that are not trying to cater to the wrong type of audiences that don't actually fucking buy their games. I'm literally the only person who's fine with the way vanilla elves look. I don't think they look awful, but they definitely weren't sexy. I like my elves sexy. Sorry. I like them a specific way. You know, if I'm gonna go for elves, they're gonna look good, or I'm not gonna play them. But yeah, you know, I used to like Bethesda a lot. I still want to give them a chance because I love some of their franchises. Doom is fucking amazing. But I'm worried, guys. I am worried. Dreamcast release $99.99. Developers will release bug-ridden crap because gamers put up with it and journos ignore it. I think that developers release buggy shit because they don't want to have to spend an extra year on it. Look at how long it's taken Bethesda to do games that they've done. It takes them so long because they're using such outdated engines and stuff, and I don't want to say technology because, you know, it's just like the engine and stuff. But you have to consider they know that they don't have an infinite amount of time, and yeah, they take their sweet ass time, but in the end, investors just want them to push out products, which is why they're doing things like pushing out, you know, like Wolfenstein Youngblood, or pushing out things like Blades, because it's a minimal effort project with hopefully a decent return. Doom Eternal mocked SJWs doing refugee crisis in the reveal trailer. They did do that, which still, even though, you know, that's something that I thought was funny, it's still putting real life politics into something that doesn't pertain to the game. So even if I think it's funny, it's still wrong for them to do that. But if it's just like that, those like 2 quips that we saw, it's okay. Like, to me, I guess, doesn't bother me that much. Little quips and little things here and there don't bother me a ton. But still, when you're adding in, you know, things like this that cannot be kind of, you know, seen in any other way, it's annoying. Skyrim is a glorified tech demo. Changed my mind. I agree with that. I love my Dreamcast. Dreamcasts are awesome. They're low-key geniuses, though, making the modding community finish it. I mean, it's true. They do practically just make the modding community finish it. They give them something half-assed, but players will still buy it and play it because there is a specific market of people like modders that want to do stuff like that to games, so they don't care if it's half broken and half-assed. They just don't care. They're still going to buy it and play it because they know they can fix it and do whatever the hell they want with it. And that, to some people, is really fun. I personally am not a huge modder when it comes to games, but I see the appeal in it, and I do it occasionally. Especially with Skyrim. Skyrim was like one of the first games that I modded because I just couldn't take it. Hurt my heart. But it's right-wing politics to even out the leftist garbage they put out. Right, it's still political messages don't pertain to the game itself. It's still a thing, you know? Just so you guys know, I am probably going to end stream in about 10 to 15 minutes. So if there's anything that you guys want to talk about in chat, feel free. If you guys want to discuss anything, let me know. I appreciate you all being here and sticking around, you know, the next couple of minutes. How do you mod games? You could look it up. Some games don't really need to be modded. Off topic, I'm loving the synthwave in the background. You nailed the sound mix, 10 out of 10. 80s synthwave is the best of the best, baby. Baby, it's the best of the best. But thank you. The Skyrim modding community is amazing. Most modding communities in general are amazing because the modding hot take, the modding communities listen to what people want more than game companies do. Hot fucking take. Game modders in that community listens to what consumers want more than game companies. It's so sad, but very true. Taro Yamada. Oh, the Japanese politician that's fighting censorship in anime and manga. Yeah, I've been looking more into him. I mean, he's fought for it for a long time, but he's really started pushing for it lately. Good for him, you know? If I was in a position like that and I was a politician and I could make an impact, hell yeah, like, I would do it. I mean, obviously, like, we just hit 10,000 subscribers, which I am so appreciative of, and obviously I do not have the largest reach on YouTube or anything, but I still like to think that, you know, when I put out videos about censorship and things that pertain to very heavy, you know, topics and very important topics, there are people that listen, and maybe that makes a difference in what you guys purchase and how you guys see things. What's your hot take on the Comicsgate infighting? I think it's not okay to fucking dox people. It is illegal. And I think that it was wrong that specific people in the Comicsgate community started doxing other people in the Comicsgate community. If you guys do not know, there was a stream the other night, and I don't even remember who said it, but there's a problem where they had publicly said during a stream someone's real name that they were talking about, and that's not okay. I get that a lot of people kind of, you know, glanced over it because, like, they said his name, they didn't, like, try to give out any more personal information. Like, they realized after they said it, like, oh man. But still, I think it's gotten to the point where it's not about what it started as. Comicsgate started as something that, you know, meant something. I don't know if doxing is illegal. I don't think that's true. It is very illegal to give out people's private information in a public setting. It is so illegal. It's so illegal. It's very illegal. Believe me, I know. But yeah. It's... The whole comics thing has gone farther than it originally meant to be. It has gotten to the point where they sound like children fighting over things. Respect each other. It doesn't matter if someone has a completely different opinion than you on one side or another. People are people. Do not... They're taking it too far. Something like Comicsgate started for a reason, and even if you agree with someone or disagree with someone, that doesn't mean it's okay to, like, dox people and stuff. It's not okay. Doxing is legal, but Vera will get mad at me, but the info is publicly available. It's not considered... Right, if the information is public, like if you look up, like, PewDiePie, his name, and it pops up because it's public information, because he's a public figure, it is not illegal. But say, we were talking to, right, someone completely different, like another YouTuber, and their name was not in the public, and you told other people, even if it was one person, their name, their location, information about them, that is illegal. At least in the United States and Canada. And I also think in the UK. Stuff like that. It is my brother-in-law. He told me about this once. Oh yeah, doxing's very illegal. It is closely related to, like, internet. It's close to... People consider it close to, like, hacktivism and stuff. Like, because doxing someone isn't... It's carried out for things like extortion and, you know, like, coercion and harassment, online shaming. It's illegal. Harassment, you know. Doxing is always illegal whether it is done against a federal employee, a state employee, or a regular person. With regular citizens, doxing falls under various state criminal laws such as stalking, cyberstalking, harassment, threats, or other laws such depending on the state. But that's, yeah, you guys get it. Doxing's only okay if it's a celebrity, got it. No, but I'm saying that they already have their information out there because they're a public figure. If they're a public figure and, like, they put their information out there, like, if you're a journalist and you say your name's Todd Howard, then it's not doxing by saying, oh, that's Todd Howard. Like, it's public information. Type of. It's a little harder to explain, but I think that you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. Celebrities have a different level of protection as well.
Beep, boop, boop, beep. Doxing is bad, okay? It's called invasion of privacy and is illegal.
Thank you for the $5 donation, Frank. Thank you for clearing that up for everyone in the chat. I do appreciate it. You are the top dominator tonight with $8 worth of donations. I do very much so appreciate all of your donations, you guys. Like, I can go through 10 pieces of data and matching an anonymous Twitter account to a real name and then publish it. That's doxing, isn't it? Yes. Which do you think shook the game industry more? The 2017's Battlefront 2 debacle or the 2018's Fallout 76? 2017 Battlefront 2. I would say Battlefront 2. I get that, you know, Fallout 76 had microtransactions, it was broken. Well, you know, now that I think about it, I'm not necessarily sure, because the thing with 76 was they also lied to consumers about product. I guess I would actually have to say 76, because when it came to the collector's edition, they lied to people about, like, the canvas bag and stuff. They did actually lie to people about also physical goods. So, actually 76. That's a good question, though. I still use public info to get my conclusions, no license plate databases or anything. It just works? Wait, what just works? Comicsgate infighting also has to do with religion. Yeah, it has to do with religion. It has to do with, like, sexual orientation and stuff. It also has to do with, you know, doxing, which happened, like, 2 or 3 nights ago. The doxing stuff happened with Comicsgate, and that's not okay. It's not okay. Like, it's not okay. Did you hear about Mortal Kombat 11 being banned in Japan? The Japanese didn't tolerate the increased level of gore, that's why. Is there something new with Mortal Kombat 11 in Japan? Yeah, nothing new has happened with it. Right. I mean, I knew about that when it first came out. I didn't know if, like, they actually released it or something and then banned it. But yeah, it is true, Daryl. Battlefield 2 is a good game. Totally glad EA didn't abandon it. The Battlefront series is good. I mean, the Battlefield series. I liked Battlefront 1. I like the gameplay of the new Battlefront games. It's just the monetization that fucking sucks. Yeah, Mortal Kombat's been banned in Japan for a long time. I got confused there. My bad. That is doxing. If you publish anything that people haven't published themselves and don't want to publish, that it's not very close to doxing. That is doxing. Battlefront 2, I mean, yeah. Who thinks this the game just trash? Mortal Kombat 11? It is trash. Straight trash. I was excited for the, I was very excited for the story, but I still haven't played it. I mean, I've, like, played it in passing, but I haven't done this, like, I haven't bought it myself. I didn't know that it's been for a long time. Sorry, no worries. Everyone learns something every day. The Swedish online retailer said the PS5 is listed at the price for $1,000 as a placeholder price for investors. I haven't heard anything on that. But I would guess that it would probably be, it's probably going to be like $500. I mean, we've been talking about buggy games and didn't talk about Ubisoft. Weird. True. Do you think telling people's real names is doxing? It is doxing. Any private information that is not made public, that someone else makes public, is doxing. Let's not talk about doxing anymore, you guys. It's not a very happy topic. Especially for end of stream. Stream's winding down. I'll probably end stream in a couple of minutes. Not a very positive topic. Is there anything else you guys wanted to ask, or, you know, any other situations you guys have found interesting lately? I'll be putting up, you know, videos tomorrow per usual. I am not streaming tomorrow night, because we are doing Titan's Table on Wednesday. So Wednesday, Titan's Table, 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Magic the Gathering based. We are going to be talking about Wizards of the Coast ending the judge program, and changing around the judge program, forcing judges to pay to be a judge. Vera prefers salad? Indeed I do. I like leaves a lot. Leaves are very yummy. All this talk of doxing got Vera tuckered out. There's been some drama in the community the past couple of days, and I don't want to talk about doxing anymore. And it's not a very positive topic. It's not a very positive. I would rather end the stream with a positive topic. You know?
What's your reaction to streamer honey_gold saying she is better than you at Warcraft and Magic?
What's your reaction to saying she is better? Well, I don't know who that is, so, she said that she's better. It's probably someone fake. Warcraft and Magic? Well, that's fine. I never claimed to be a professional player at World of Warcraft or Magic the Gathering. I play games to have fun. And I don't know who they are, so they're probably irrelevant. I mean, maybe they're not irrelevant, but, like, I don't know who they are. Good for them. Good for them shit-talking someone to feel better about themselves. Good for them. You know? That's all I have to say. What are they, a streamer or something? What are they, on Twitch? I'm gonna open Twitch and it's gonna blare. It's gonna blare into your ears. I'm so sorry. Well, I didn't find anyone on YouTube or Twitch, so they must be fake. Vera, why is Tony such a good journalist? I mean, Tony's a pretty good journalist. Heck, Twitch. Vera, but you say you play paper competitively. I don't play arena competitively, and you guys have never seen me play paper. I guess I should have re-specified that. I don't play arena competitively, and I've never streamed paper or anything. Vera, do you watch Nerdette's Newsstand? You two make a great collab team, I think. I mean, I've listened to her a couple of times, especially around the Mortal Kombat stuff, where people were equally kind of shitting on both of us, but I haven't ever talked to her or anything. I've commented on some of her videos, she's commented on some of my videos, yeah, she seems pretty good. I don't know why she doesn't put her face in videos. She should. I mean, do you not Google her? Oh, okay. I gotcha. I don't know. You know what? There are so many people that, like, name their, their streaming names off of something like that just to be a troll. Like, who knows? Fair Google. Honey Gold! I can only Google hentai here, guys, okay? Only hentai. I Googled her. Well, I went to Twitch and looked up that name, and it wasn't a real name, so I figured they were fake. Because I'm sure if someone was talking shit about me, I would hear about it. Believe me, I would hear about it. Anyway, probably because of privacy and isn't comfortable showing her face. I mean, she puts her, like, pictures of her face in thumbnails. I mean, I understand, though. Like, some people aren't comfortable with that. It took me a while to be kind of comfortable with that. I mean, but yeah. I mean, I've never had a problem with her or anything. Vera, you want a good hentai? The mothership hears all? Yes, we do. But thank you, Don't Break It, for the $3 donation. I appreciate it. You are not the top dominator and the top donator tonight. Frank still is, but I do appreciate both of you guys in your donations. Not everyone is as cute as you, Vera. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna publish 100 articles with Vera Dark in it in Dry for Nuts. No. Every article at this point that's, like, ever mentioned my name, and there's not many, but still, you know, there's people that send it to me, which I appreciate. I appreciate hearing from you guys, like, pointing out if someone's trying to smack talk me. It doesn't really matter, though. She's probably camera shy. Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. But yeah, I've never had a problem with her. Her videos were pretty good. I haven't seen many of them, but yeah. Yeah, Nerdette might be camera shy. I think that it actually putting your face in videos and whatnot gives people a very personal feel to the person that they're listening to. So yeah. Or she doesn't have a camera. I know that she recently started a Patreon. You can buy, like, a decent video camera for, like, the one that I have for, like, $40, so. I mean, either way, doesn't matter. There have been articles that have talked good about me before. A lot of them have come from, like, One Angry Gamer. Tony writes for One Angry Gamer, but, like, Billy has written a couple articles about me as well. I've also had some negative videos made about me and negative articles, but I'm not too concerned about it. Did I miss anything? We are ending stream in a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, CJ, I was just, we were talking about, you know, just winding down stream, talking about some, fun things. But yeah, ending stream probably, like, 10 minutes or so. Yeah, she has her picture up during her videos. She, like, puts the picture in the corner, which some people do. I mean, that's not, like, a bad thing. Some people do. I just feel like having your face in the video, like, is more it's like a more personal. Why are weeboos gross? They're not. Wind down the stream with some hentai? No. No more Hentai Haven. Guys, let's give a big F in chat for Hentai Haven being shut down at the beginning of 2020. F's in chat, please. I never went to that website, but, it's sad for people, okay? I'm so sorry for your losses, guys. Echo! Are we fixed? Are we fixed? Are we fixed? Don't troll me. Are we fixed? Okay. Last week at the end of Monday's stream as well, for some reason the microphone decided to spaz out. I got no clue why. Very end of stream. It's like it's saying, I don't know if that's a sign that I should end stream or keep going. But yeah, we are winding down stream. We'll probably be on for a couple more minutes. Yeah, F in chat for Hentai Haven being shut down at the beginning of 2020, guys. Very sad, very awful tragedy to the world. Artificially full-blown hentai just doesn't look that good. I mean, everyone's got their preferences, okay? Everyone has preferences. Alright. Yeah, it's sad even though I'm not into hentai. Exactly, Envy, exactly. Very, 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 very sad. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Tubers love to hate Veridark. True. Hentai is art. I mean, anything can be seen as art. Anything really is art, you know? Like, many things are considered art. Even things like hentai. Hentai is gross. Hentai isn't gross. I mean, some people are into it. You know, everyone's got their personal preferences. F is art. It's sad for people. All right. Do you think Netflix will go down like Blockbuster, Vera? F in chat for Blockbuster. I don't think as fast. Well, Blockbuster went down really fast. Like once they started declining, they went downhill fast. What is this hentai you speak of? It's adult things. Guys, don't forget this is an 18 plus chat, okay? Totally. I'm gonna throw out the donation link one more time in stream, as we are winding down stream. If there's any questions, ask now. Oh, also you guys, since a lot of you are here, if you are a Patreon and a Dark Titan, I did post the other day in the Discord chat as well as on Patreon as a Patreon only post, that I will be doing a Q&A this week. I wanted to do a Patreon only Q&A since I haven't done those in a while. And probably next week I might do something for 10k subscribers. I haven't figured out what I want to do yet, but I am going to do that at some point. But yeah. So if you haven't checked that out already and you are a Dark Titan, you should go and check that post out and check the Discord chat as well. Stopped at TikTok for a bit. What I miss? What's TikTok, like the video thing? What I miss? We're just winding down stream. No end of stream hentai picture. Not even. No end of stream hentai picture, unfortunately for you guys. Are there any upcoming games you're looking forward to play? I'm curious to see what is going to happen with Jedi Fallen Order I am keeping my eye on that. I am keeping my eye on Doom Eternal as well. I am going to be playing Blair Witch, which comes out at the end of the month. It is going to be on Game Pass, which I do have, so I'm very excited for Blair Witch. What other games are coming out in like September, October? There's so many games. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 comes out the day before my birthday, so I am definitely going to have to pre-order that soon. Very excited for that. I will be streaming that, of course. Did Greedfall come out already? Greedfall 2019. Greedfall was the game that I had on the list. Yeah, no. Greedfall is the... yeah, Greedfall hasn't come out yet. I'm excited to see what happens with Greedfall, definitely, for sure. What games are you guys excited for that come out at the end of the year, or any other games that are coming out? Outer Worlds, I am not all that excited for. Borderlands 3, I am not going to buy at launch. I am going to wait to see how it goes. Blair Witch, cool. I am so excited for the Blair Witch game. I remember the trailer for Blair Witch, and it was like 10 seconds, and there's like this guy walking in the woods. I'm like, is this fucking Blair Witch? And then you see like the things on the trees. I'm like, oh shit, I got that so good. I guessed so well. I had no clue that they were making a Blair Witch game. I'm waiting for Watch Dogs Legions to be a colossal disappointment. It already is. New Modern Warfare! Yes, I am going to play the new Modern Warfare the day that it comes out. I do have to pre-order that soon. I'll wait till Borderlands 3 comes to the Vita. Interesting. Link's Awakening. I'm going to hold off on Link's Awakening to see what happens with it. It's not a game that I'm going to get at launch, but it is a game that I will get and play eventually here. Yeah, usually I wait for like Game of the Year editions to come out for games like Borderlands and Rage 2 and all that stuff, so I'll probably wait for that. Yeah, Zelda games are like Link's Awakening's cool to see. I already posted a question to Patreon. Drew, you Patreons, you Dark Titans are free to post as many questions as you want. It does not have to just be one. I might not get to answering all of them, but having more questions mean I could always make more videos of Q&As. Streets of Rage 4. Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of games that I'm very excited for. But my thing is I'm kind of waiting for a lot of them to see how they're going to turn out. Also, Code Vein is a game that I am excited for, but I'm not sure if I'm going to buy it at launch. I might wait for it to see how that goes. Gears of War 5 I'm not going to be purchasing. Yeah, let me see. I have a list. It looks like Death Stranding is a game that I'm very excited to see. I don't know if I'm going to get that at launch, though. Yeah, and then Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I'm keeping my eye on to see how it ends up going. If it's more than like a 10-hour, 12-hour game, I'll get it. Gears of War 5 will be on Game Pass. That's true. I forgot about that. I might play it eventually, but yeah. If we're playing it smart, to wait and see. I have always kind of played it smart and kind of waited to see how games are. I have always been that way, though, so I guess we'll have to see. Oh, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Probably like 2 more years until we see that, but that'll be cool to hear more about. Astral Chain for the Switch. Pokemon China game. Oh yeah, that's it. All right. Do you have Mario Maker, Vera? I do. But all right, you guys. I am going to head out for the night. This is the end of the talk stream. Thank you all so much for hanging out the past couple of hours. I do very, very much so appreciate it. Thank you so much, Frank, for the donations, and thank you, Don't Break It, for the donation as well. I do appreciate all the donations and the support that the channel has gotten. Thank you guys again for helping me hit 10,000 subscribers. I will be on Discord if you guys want to chat for the next little while. No stream tomorrow, like I said, but there will be a video tomorrow, and I will be around in Discord. Next stream will be Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I will be doing Titan's Table. We'll be talking about Wizards of the Coast ending the Judge program. The new Commander set. We'll be talking about things like that. But yes, thank you guys so much for hanging out the past couple of hours. I do appreciate all of you. Next talk stream will be next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and I will see you guys then. Have a fantastic night, everybody.